Hey there, action figure fans. Today I've got a couple figures from Skeletron. On the right we have an O-ring Wolf Trooper, and on the left we have a Red Shadows, is it Gyre Wolf, I think is how you say that. They look good. This is a 4-inch more modern articulation, while this is the more 3.75-inch O-ring style figure. I should have had one more, except for I didn't understand the deadline. I missed ordering, I think it's what, Wolf Trooper? Let's flip this around. Let's see, it's going to be a Wolf Trooper, I believe, in this modern 4-inch modern looking thing. Hopefully I'll be able to get it soon because, yeah, I'm really disappointed that I missed that figure, but I misunderstood, I misread some information, and I missed the deadline to get it. So these look good. Let's flip these around. You can see that on the back here, you get file cards reminiscent of the old 80s G.I. Joe action figures. You have a Skeletron file card and a Wolf Trooper file card. In fact, this whole package is very reminiscent of an old 80s G.I. Joe packaging. You've got all the same style of printing down here, the bottom left, bottom right, collect red shadows and vehicles and figures. The only thing missing would be some sort of a flag point system, like maybe a red shadows flag or something, I don't know. You got the really awesome explosion artwork for the Wolf Trooper here in a pose very reminiscent of an 80s G.I. Joe figure. You got the logo right here, fully posable retro action figure. You got this white border that a ton of fans are crazy about. They don't like the art going all the way to the edge for some reason, but because it's got this white border, it's retro and all that. And even there on this side, down there, you have what the figure includes, all the accessories and everything, just like it did back in the 80s. New swivel wrist battle grip in the bottom left corner. This is a Grindstone Toys figure, the same group that's doing Call Sign Longbow, so this is actually kind of like an early sneak peek at what those figures, if you back that Kickstarter, are going to be like. And then switching over here to the more modern figure, we have this Gyre Wolf. I'll say it again, I think. You got some pretty cool art over here. It looks like he's stepping through a portal from one world to another. And so this is more of a futuristic, modern interpretation of the packaging. Notice there is absolutely no white border around this one. And the modern packaging also means removing the information of what's included with the figure. You get this data file card thing. The unfortunate thing is there's no way, it doesn't really look like you can cut that out. So, you know, with this one, at least you have the lines, the dashed lines around it to guide you. There's like a mixture of lines that kind of doesn't give you a sense of how you cut this out. And up here is just not really a cross sale, but kind of an indication of all the items that were available through the Kickstarter for the Robo Skull. And you've got the Blood Wolf 4-inch driver, you have the Red Weasel driver, which I'm glad is 00, because unless you order the special edition Robo Skull, you're not going to be able to apparently get this figure again unless you go to eBay. And then here are all the figures and the Skeledrones as well. So you got the O-ring, the Skeledrones, and the 4-inch Skeletron Jungle Wolf Trooper. Actually, the Wolf Trooper is also in 4-inch and 3.75-inch, so I guess that represents both of them. But anyway, and then this figure right there. Anyway, enough talking about this amazingly cool looking packaging. Let's actually open these things up and look at the figures instead of just admiring the packaging. Let's go. We'll begin with the O-ring Wolf Trooper, since that's the one I have been looking forward to the most, because I went all in on the Call Sign Longbow to Kickstarter, so I've been very anxious to see what their figures are going to be like. So yeah, when I heard that they were going to be doing this one as well, I've been really excited. So the first thing I'm going to do is a bit of a height comparison with none other than Battle Armor Cobra Commander, and as you can see, the O-ring figure, or the O-ring Joes and the O-ring Skeletron figure, they match up really good. They look really good together. You know, this is the commander, and he could be leading a whole army of Wolf Troopers over here, and I think that's pretty cool. So I might do a later video where I go really in depth comparing the 80s G.I. Joe figures with this one to see how compatible and comparable they are, but that won't be in this video. So this figure comes with a pile of accessories. He's got a clear figure stand, very reminiscent of the 80s G.I. Joe figures, and it looks like it's clear, so it's kind of hard to see, but there's a stamp saying Grindstone Toys down here, and date and everything. He's got this translucent blue sword with a little, let's see if we can get how close we can get with this here, but the little detail here, if you can see on the handle there, it's like a little translucent skull. It's kind of difficult to, it's such a small detail. He's got this jetpack here, and there are no holes for thrusters, but there are a couple things poking out there. Maybe they hold stuff, I'm not sure, but it's got a standard little cross piece there for plugging in to the back of the figure, and we'll do that in a minute. You get a helmet, and it's actually kind of a medium rubber. It's squeezable, and it fits on. I'll just go ahead and do this. It fits right on, like so. Really easy, and it looks good. Then he gets some unpainted red weapons. So you get this laser rifle looking thing. You get this little laser handgun looking thing. And you get this little looking, must be some futuristic blade weapon. You can hold it right there in the middle, and he's got some knives on it, so that thing. And the final accessory is an extra head. And I find this just a little bit strange. You get a whole head and neck peg system. Bring this in just a little bit closer so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. There we go. So if you want to put this head on, it's not just a simple pop and swap, which I'm really disappointed to learn. You're going to have to actually turn this guy around, put a screwdriver in his hole back here, take that screw out, take this figure apart, and put this head in. You know, I get that there's people out there who like to do that type of thing for customizing. I just want to be able to pop the head off and pop another one on. So that's kind of a disappointment that they went that route, because, yeah, I don't know. It just seems just disappointing to me that you can't pop it off. It looks like the head just swivels. There's no up and down, back and forth, unless it's on this rocker here. They're sticking really, really close to the old G.I. Joe style. The only thing that's different I've noticed is the hand rotates. That's it. Otherwise, these are pretty much exactly the same build. So let's take a look at that same build, shall we? So the head rotates left and right. It leans forward a little bit, leans up just a little bit. The arm rotates all the way around, except for it has to come out because of this shoulder or this chest piece armor. There's a hinge, so you can go about 90 degrees there, and I'll take this moment to point out something that I find interesting, and that is, this is a different color. This hinge inside the arm is not silver, it's a strange white color, and it really jumps out at me as not blending well. It looks different, and it makes the whole arm shoulder area different looking to me. And you have a swivel here at the elbow as well. As I point out, there's a swivel wrist. It is O-ring construction, and I will lift this. It's a tight O-ring. I'm going to lift this up so you can see. There's the O-ring right in there. And you can separate it. It's got three main pieces: the torso, the waist, and the leg area. If you want this figure to sit, well, you can get him to sit, but the figure kind of pops back because I'm guessing the tightness of the O-ring or how this area was designed. If you want him to do the splits, well, the way that the molding or the pieces that were put on the side are, he can't really do the splits. He is not a splits person. And legs only go back so far. He has a 90-degree bend at the knee, so you could have him sit just like that. Pretty good. And beyond that, there is no articulation in the leg. It is just the knee joint and the metal ball joint that it's on, and even that is a little bit limited. There is a hole in the foot if you want to put him on his figure stand, just like so. And he seems to peg on pretty good, but I don't think he goes down all the way. So he's going to stand above. He's going to kind of float here just a little bit. And I don't know if I want to shove the figure down all the way. In fact, that's really tight. So let's take a look at this figure being geared up. And in fact, I don't really like using figure stands. If they can't design a figure to stand on its own in some way, if you can balance it, then there's problems. So we're going to do the backpack first. Looks like it goes this way. And oh shoot, that's tight. In fact, that almost feels like it doesn't quite fit in there. Is it going in? I guess it is. It's done a little bit of damage to the back, the peg there, but it doesn't look like it goes all the way on. There we go. It's on. All right, it's on. We'll see what happens there. I don't think I'm going to put the Skeletron head on during this video because we're just looking at it right now. And I'll do that in a different video. So let's put his little weird dagger futuristic thing in his hand. Fits in there quite nicely. It's like a futuristic dagger or, I don't know, peace symbol or flipping you off. I don't know. See how well this laser rifle fits in there. Laser rifle fits in there good. Looking good with that laser rifle. The laser gun, of course, fits in really well. Like so. And finally, the sword. And look at that. It just finally slid off or fell off or something. This is probably the weakest accessories, this backpack, this jetpack. I'm having difficulties putting it on, and apparently it kind of pops off. The sword is really cool, though. I like the sword. It looks really good on him. And I'm sure the sword will look really good when I swap the head out and put the Skeletron head there instead. So maybe if I do it, I might do it before I release the video, and if I do, I'll put an image right here of what the figure looks like with the Skeletron head. I just don't want to take the time to do that during this video. So anyway, that is the O-Ring that's the O-Ring Wolf Trooper. I think he looks pretty good. Just a couple little gripes, complaints, critiques. We'll go with critiques. And that is this joint right there, this hinge, different color. It's not silver. It's a kind of a, looks like an unpainted white. And I'm not a huge fan of having to separate the figure to put in the other head. I just want to pop and swaps type of stuff. And I'm curious. I'm going to have to test this backpack out more, but it seems like it's kind of difficult. I'm looking at it, and it's getting damaged a little bit trying to shove it in there and twist it around and so forth. But other than that, actually, another thing I was noticing is it almost felt like this was a separate piece, but maybe it's not. This armor up here, I guess it's not. I guess it feels just fine. So anyway, there we have the 3.75-inch O-Ring Wolf Trooper. Let's move on to the next figure. So here we have the more modern 4-inch action figure, and let's just do a really quick side-by-side comparison so you can see the height difference of 3.75 and 4 inches. I didn't measure this, so I'm not sure if it's exactly 4 inches. I guess this is what I thought came off. This seems to maybe come off somehow. Looks like there's a connection points on the side here, and you can take off this upper area. I might do that. We'll see. I might brave it to do that. Anyway, let's see about the accessories. So this figure comes with a different kind of clear figure stand. In fact, it's kind of difficult to see, I think, at least it is for me. You've got the Skeletron logo engraved, I think. Yeah, kind of engraved on there with 3 points there. So you can hook on there, maybe. Yeah, he can hook on there. That works pretty well. I hope this figure can stand without the figure stand, though. Maybe. There we go. This is supposed to be like the most perfect action figure ever, so we got to keep that in mind as we're doing this. He comes with this kind of a figure stand. It's got 3 dots on there as well, or 3 pegs. It has kind of a hollow, looks like kind of a Doctor Strange portal of sorts, but that's cool. Makes noise. He comes with a secondary head that's blue translucent. I've also heard that it glows in the dark. I haven't tried that, and I won't be trying that in this video, but I might do some photos. But yeah, Looks like about the same size of head. He's got a really cool little futuristic blaster gun type of a thing. And he's got his jetpack here, which I'm not sure which way it actually goes. I think it goes this way on the back. And apparently some detachable claws. So you've got some detachable Wolverine claws. And these are actually, set him off to the side for a second. These are actually a lot sturdier than I was expecting them to be. I thought they'd be a little bit more flimsy, but no, these feel good. They feel good. The jetpack thing looks really nice. And finally, he comes with a silver helmet. And we'll just try that real quick. Slides right on. Figure looks really good. This is a cool looking figure. I love the silver and I love the black. I might have to get more just because the color scheme is really pretty awesome. Now, from what I understand, Marauders created this figure. This is a Marauders figure. And so that's kind of interesting that this toy line is going to have a couple different companies make figures, I think, for them. From what it sounds like, the head rotates back and forth like so. If you want the head to look down, that's as far as it goes. If you want to look up, it's as far as it goes. It doesn't look like there's much of anything on there at all. Lift the arms up for a T-pose. He can do that. Makes a nice look right off that armor, doesn't it? If you want him to rotate the arms around, well, there's some hindrance. He can't go so far. You're going to have to bring the arms out. They have to do like a YMCA type of a thing here. So let's see what else is going on here. He's got a rotation at the elbow. More than 90-degree bend, it looks like, at the elbow. The wrists rotate. And there is a hinge, but my hinge is not working very well. There is no torso cut, it's just here at the waist. And if I remember right, Marauder figures have a ball joint there. So it's working, it's moving all over the place. If you want him to do the splits, look at that dude go. In this spacesuit, he can do the splits. If you want him to sit straight up, then there you go. If you want his legs to go backwards, they can go back about that far. There is a thigh swivel. Looks like the left one's working, the right one's kind of, there we go, is not stuck anymore. He's got double pin knee. Goes back this far. The silver is just amazing. I love the silver on here. There is a boot rotation. If you want him to lean back, you can go back that far. And if you want his ankles to go forward, looks like actually they only go about that far. And there's a pivot down there also. So pretty nice there. Now I like this. This joint is silver. It matches it, unlike the grindstone figure over there, which has that weird white hinge up there. Now, this is a Marauders figure, as I mentioned, so I guess the idea from what I've been hearing from people is you can swap some things out with your other Marauder figures. So if you want to pop this head off, look at that. It's a pop-off head. I like that. You can easily pop on another Marauder's head. Look at that. That works really well. Now, just for fun, how well does this helmet work? Look at that. The helmet still works, even on a different head. Now, it probably won't work on all the heads that you might have for Marauder figures that you want to swap out. But it worked for the ones that I've chosen, which apparently have a very low profile ears and hair. So let's see. What about this one? Yep, that one works really well too. So you could get a bunch of these, get a bunch of different heads, and you got a whole army of these silver wolf troopers is what we could call them. Yeah, these are awesome. I got to get more of these. I like this black and silver far more, much more than the red and blacks. Yeah, this is good. I would get a small army of these figures right here. And let's just, for fun, try the translucent head. Oh, that's really tight. Really tight. So it looks like it doesn't sit as well. I don't know. It looks like it's a smaller head, maybe. I don't know. Ugh. And of course, you could just put the helmet on if you're going to pose it and walk away. I guess not. So we'll put the head that it came with back on. Let's see, we'll put this backpack on. We'll slide it on, see how that goes. Looks like this backpack works a lot better. Slides right in, no problem. You can take off these claws and put them on the hands. At least I'm assuming you can. Sure hope you can. There you go. Now if you need a Wolverine in space type of character, we need Marauders to... Well, okay, that backpack's a little bit loose, but... We need Marauders to make a Wolverine-style type head now. Can kind of do like a... a little pose here, like a little Wolverine pose. I don't think I could get him to stay like this if I wanted to, though. I'd need the figure stand over here. This is when I need a figure stand, and when I put figures in poses that they're not going to stay in. There we go. Something like that, right? It's kind of funny. Let's see. But yeah, the backpack, the jetpack. Look at that. That's interesting. Let's take a look here at this backpack for a second. No, you see there? It's got a bunch of black stuff on there. So, no, it doesn't. The paint rubbed off. So by putting it in there, the paint rubbed off of this. And, you know, tuck it in here like this. So just moving it around like this, one thing loosens it up and it removes the paint. Yeah, this is actually a pretty... It just barely sticks in here. But then not too much effort is needed and it will fall right off. So, while losing, look at that, all this paint off the end. So, that stinks. That's kind of disappointing that the paint will come off. Alright, let's take one. I don't know if I'll be able to get this back on, but we're going to, for the sake of the video, we're going to take off. Maybe. This thing. This space thing. Or maybe not. This one doesn't want to pop off, which makes me... There we go. So I guess we're going to have to take the head off, and then it will come off over the head. And then you've got a non-space suited, very skinny, slender-ish figure there. It's more like, I don't know, some sort of like another kind of a space armor, maybe. Let's get the claws off. They're making me nervous, like I might bump them. Let's put the backpack on now. Oh, well, yeah, that explains why. So you see the black bit? That's as far as it goes in on the figure. And that's really not very far at all. That is very, very shallow, unless my figure's not working right. There, I got pushed in just a little bit more, and now it's a little bit tighter. But yeah, if you move it around too much, it's going to scrape that silver paint right off. That's disappointing. When everything else was going so well, you have apparently paint that's just going to come right off. So that makes me wonder about the the longevity of the paint on this backpack, maybe even the paint on the figure. What's going to cause it to scrape off? What's it going to rub up against that might flake off? I mean, I've got a pile of black or silver paint flecks all over here. So that's really disappointing. Hey, there's some writing on the inside of here, but we'll put this back on. Right. Take the head off. Pop the thingy back on. Put the head on. I did not hear a snap, but it must be on. So, there. We're not going to try and snap that thing in now. But anyway, that is the Gyre Wolf. Gyre? This guy. There we go. Okay. And we've got the 3.75-inch O-ring Grindstone Toys Wolf Trooper. There we go. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful at all, well, thank you. I'm glad. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm just talking until I get him to stand. There we go. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next video.